Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko. I'm a retired police captain out of Las Vegas with 24 years of experience. Currently, I travel the country and I teach people about resilience, courage, and leadership. So today we're going to talk about pain. And I'm not talking about just physical pain, but also, the mental pain, the anguish, that feeling after you've experienced some trauma, whether it's personal. Like for me, I lost a father to cancer. I lost a brother to suicide. And sometimes it can be professional, losing a job, getting that fear of, you're no longer going to be able to support your family, but that can cause that emotional pain. Sometimes it can be going through a traumatic event. So most of us see pain as something to avoid, to numb it, or to fight against, right? It's, I don't want to feel this negative emotion. And so I'm going to do everything I can to avoid pain. In law enforcement specifically, and other high stress careers, the culture is push through the pain and don't show it. But much like fear, much like anxiety and these other difficult emotions, pain, physical, emotional, or even spiritual, all show up for a reason. And that reason is to learn from our pain, because I am a much better person because of what I have been through. And it doesn't mean it was easy. It doesn't mean that I needed to go through it or I wanted to go through it, but I am who I am today because of a whole of my experience. So what does pain teach you, though? The first thing is it teaches us our limits. It tells us when we're overextended, both physically, mentally, emotionally. Like if you have a knee that hurts when you're working out, it teaches you, okay, I need to not squat while I heal this. Sometimes pain teaches us the right direction to go. That discomfort can point to what needs to change. I have nagging lower back pain. So I'm going to start doing, different exercises to try and build up the muscle and not feel the pain. Or emotionally, I'm in a toxic relationship and I'm feeling emotional pain on a regular basis. Well, because of that emotional pain, because of that heartache, maybe the direction is I need to get out of this relationship, or it could be I need to fix it, right? Another thing pain can teach us is about resilience. Working through hardship, working through pain can build strength that you can't get any other way. I talked about some of the personal things I've been through professionally. I've, been through several critical incidents, from both a tactical response and a leadership. And these incidents that I went through, these active shooters, these shootings, those officer-involved shootings, because I eventually processed through them, I was able to come out on the other side stronger and more resilient. But you have to take that approach to it. You have to really lean into the experience and getting professional help and, learning tools to build that resilience. But if I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have the experiences that I had. And the last thing pain can teach you really is empathy. Is when you go through your own personal hardships, it gives you the tools to be more empathetic to others. I went through a divorce years ago, and there were two types of people. There was the people that, oh my gosh, that's so terrible. How are the kids? And, maybe well-intended. And then there's the people that like, okay, well, is that a good decision for you? How do you feel about that? And spurring the better conversations because they're coming more from a place of empathy. And that can be for all the different types of pain. And you have the physical pain, like I said, sore muscles that show growth. That emotional pain, grief that deepens your capacity, though, to love is, I didn't realize how much my father meant to me until he was gone. We had a great relationships and we talked almost every day, but that hole that was left when he was gone in my life, it showed how deep of a relationship you can have with somebody. the relationship pain, that the conflict exposes different patterns that you need to address. I'll tell you personally, I could be a way better communicator than I am in my relationships. And because of the conflict that that's caused, it exposed where I need to improve. So with this, though, comes a shift of mindset. Instead of asking, why me? Why am I experiencing this bad thing, this pain, this physical pain, this, mental pain? It's what can I learn from this? What is this trying to show me? Shifting how you view pain as feedback, not punishment. And then what I talked about in the last podcast is being real and being vulnerable, normalizing talking about it to, your teams, to your families, to your spouse. So being able to shift that mindset to a learning standpoint will make you so much more resilient, and you will learn from the difficulties that you've experienced rather than let them define you. Because the tricky part is if you let them define you, then the fear of that pain will start making decisions for you. And I'll tell you, everything that I've been through, they've shaped me into the person I am today, given me the ability to share my story in rooms full of cops and rooms full of leaders with the goal of helping them understand what they've been through and build that resilience. I have the mindset, if I walk out of a class after sharing my story and being real and being vulnerable, if one person in that class was positively impacted, if they reach out for help, if they reach out to talk to a professional about what they've been through, then that class was a success to me. Because pain taught me that growth and healing are possible, but only if you're willing to listen to what it's trying to show you. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the podcast or heard something you liked, please subscribe or share it with a friend. And I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me today.